How do you get traffic, you're asking?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have a
there's
site?
tons of ways. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
People ask me that all the time. First, you need to know who you're targeting.
Yeah.
Supply side is the publisher. There's traffic all over. You don't create traffic. But the whole idea, what's powerful about the survey is you're going to build an asset by capturing the data.
Yeah.
You want to get people to the survey to sign up so then you could have their data so then you can now talk to them. Because once you get traffic, what else do you need?
Something to sell to them.
Follow up.
So,
Right? You got to follow up. You got to nurture them.
yeah.
You got to have a product, of course.
Yeah.
You got to have something. Or you just do affiliate offers.
Yeah.
You always have something to sell them, right? But you got to do it in a way that it's
You want them to
not
still
going
be
to disrupt
happy.
the trust.
Yeah.
You can't just fire like 5 affiliate offers a day and just try to make money like list managers do that you're used to. You can't do that. There's got to be integrity. It's a give and take.
Yeah.
Like the idea is you want to give something before you want to ask for something. Before you take something from somebody, right? What's your give? You have like an ask.
Yeah, like we were saying before, if like, we're gonna work on your report and we're gonna send it to you, but in the meantime, let me talk to you. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna be in the report.
Yeah.
This isn't some scam that I'm just gonna sell you it and it's gonna be in your
There's no
inbox.
selling. You haven't
No.
sold yet.
Yeah,
A
I'm
thing.
literally just giving you
Right. You
what
promised
you came
something.
for.
You made a big promise on the front end.
Yeah.
And now you're delivering on that big promise. And through that entire process when you were there, a video, answer questions, video, outcome, video, talk to you, relate to you, tell you what's going on, show you why I'm here and what happened to me in the past and where I'm at today. Now, I believe that we can close high ticket, meaning like a $5, $10, $25,000 program off of a cold lead if we do it the right way. So like on the back end, it's all around like what's your survey goal? Like what action do you want them to take? So when you're building this and setting it up, like as we're doing an intake form, so as an example of what I just did, and this is why I might do a workshop, at this event last week, after I explained to people all this stuff, they were like, oh, can you do it for me? Can you show it with me? They all wanted to do it. Everybody wants it. It's not even a question of like if they want it. They all want it. I wanted to have it where it's like turnkey to sit and do anything. But so what I tried to do is ask certain questions so that if you give me the answers, I can go build it for you. But so in between like the sessions during a lunch break, I was like up and like kind of drawing out the questions, and there was a bunch of people in the audience, probably from the Category Kings. Like they all were answering the questions, listening. And like, it's funny, like they're saying to me things like, oh my God, that's so good. And I was like, really? Like, you didn't know that? And they're like, it's like getting that feedback is what's so powerful. And that's why I realized I got to keep doing that. And it'll just come together. It's like a lot of people, like they'll sell a program. Most people think you should sit down and do all of it first. And what I learned, what a lot of these guys do, is they do it and they tape as they do it. And then that becomes the program.
Oh, wow.
You sell first.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? There's one entrepreneur who's sitting home thinking about the program, spending months to figure out how to do it, then go tape it, then make sure it feels like it's good enough, then he'll roll it out and see if he can get some sales. It could take 8 months, a year. Another entrepreneur says, let's go sell it. Let's go sell the belief that I can do that. And then we're going to then tape it. We're going to go through the process. And as we do that, that is what is going to build it. We're going to get feedback from the people. We're going to learn more. We'll go and edit it. And then when we feel like it's good, now I got a program. It can run it on replay. It's evergreen.
Wow.
You know what evergreen means?
No.
It continues to run forever and ever and ever. Because you're not there, you already did it. It's like the idea of like, there are people on YouTube that have these YouTubes that are making money from something they did 7 years ago. YouTube is the best media on the internet, in my opinion. Yeah. And second close is podcasts. 2 best things on the internet that I'm interested in building. Yeah. You know the reason why? Because those 2 mediums last forever. Think about it. You have Facebook. People put a post up on Facebook. It's there for 24 hours and then it's gone. Yeah. Maybe 1 in 5 people go back maybe to look at it later on.
Yeah, once
Instagram.
It's below the fold of my, the fresh feed, it's out of sight, out of mind. And also if I can think of something, like it's impossible to find it. Be like, oh, I remember I saw that post. Impossible to try and find it again.
YouTube.
Whereas YouTube,
those videos, if you did something that added value and it resonates with people, and YouTube identifies that too, they're going to keep showing that video. How to build an affiliate marketing business, which is very popular, right? You're competing against a lot of people with that. And there's a lot of people like in that world, right? So like, it's going to be challenging to overtake that. That's why you want to come up with those names. So like, if I'm the master of arbitrage that nobody's using, no one even understands it, that's what I need to use. I need to position arbitrage. And I know why it works, and it's been proven, because from the day that I introduced arbitrage in the first meeting in this year, and everybody in the room had no idea what arbitrage meant, and then I tried to explain it to them, and I did it okay. I thought I did a good job, and half the people still didn't understand it. Part because they didn't know it, and it's so crazy that he makes money. I don't even understand what it is, but he makes money with it. They would just like joke about, oh, we can arbitrage it. Oh, we can arbitrage that. We can, arbitrage. So like, every time something happens, they joke about arbitrage. As things are happening, it's like arbitrage, arbitrage. And then like before I went up, if somebody was doing something, they would all call it out. So it's starting to like stick in their mind of like what arbitrage. For the first time, they got it when I gave my presentation this time of the 3. Yeah. I think everybody in the room understood what I did, which was like, wow, cool. Because people have a hard time with like what we do. It's not tangible, which is cool. But want to hear something really funny? I'm presenting and I'm talking about different ways that I do things, how I arbitrage media. And just when I talk about it, I'll be like, yeah, so we were doing that and we arbed it. And I'm like, what? What's arbed? Arbed?
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh, so if you're experienced, you're arbing it. Yeah, but you're arbitrage, so it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I just kind of like arb it versus arbitrage, because it's like, I'm going to say arbitrage every time, right? So like, but people that know what I'm talking about, if I teach you arbitrage and I'm arbing it, you get arb. Yeah. And it was just really, it was interesting. So like, that's a word. So it's like my messaging, what I want to do, I need to start to use that as part of it to then become the category king. So people are out there with affiliate marketing, people are out there with lead generation, online media, but no one's out there with arbitrage. No. Once I get them in and then we start talking about things like where we could do affiliate marketing and lead generation and all that stuff, but like I got to become the arb king and like working that. And it's like one of the things like what Russell did really well, like with funnels, is there's 2 reasons why somebody would buy something. It's either an improvement offer or a new opportunity, right? So you got to decide on where you're playing. Surveys have been around for how long? Forever. Yeah. Surveys not new. So am I positioning it as a new opportunity on how you can use surveys for lead gen instead of market research on how companies have been using it? Is it new? Is it a new way to use surveys that I figured out? A new way, a new method, the perfect survey method? Or you're doing it, mine is better than that. I add more value and this is why, right? And it's the messaging that you decide. Yeah. And then you have to do it in a way where the people that are out there you market to, like there's a market and then you make your target markets, right? You understand that part, right? You need to know like the market, like what the size is to even decide if you're going down that path. Right? When you're deciding on what business you're going to do, you got to know, like, are there people that want it? Yeah. It could be amazing, but there's just not that many people for you to have, like, a real big business. Yes. So you got to, like, do some research when you're deciding what business you want to get involved in. Yeah. And then the other thing you want to look at is, even if it is big, do they have money to spend? If you're in a market where they want your stuff, they love your stuff, but they don't have any money to spend, you got to figure something else out. It's not the market you want to play in, right? First off, you want to start off with like, what's a market that's already out in the marketplace that's working? You want to see that it's already happening. The sneakers. Yeah. Sneakers is a pretty big market, right? Yeah. Nike, Adidas, how many others? Shoes. Of course. Big market. Yeah. Place, there's buyers, people want shoes. How do you compete with Nike? Yeah. Donna Karan, or all these big kahunas? How do you do that? How do you do it? You know?
I don't know how, no.
You niche down. Yeah. And you speak to a very specific target audience and you solve their problem better than that big company who's talking to everybody. Right? They might love Nike, but you're going to hit on them in a way that we're describing. You're going to resonate with these people. You understand what's going on. The one thing they hate about the Nike sneakers that like bothers them, and if there was something else out there, they would buy it in a second. Yeah. You know what Allbirds is? No. Allbirds is a shoe company that did an unbelievable job. They're pretty big of doing that, competing against like a Nike and Adidas. Wow. And they like got their name out into the world. Really successful. Allbirds. Go check it out. But they definitely targeted a certain segment, a certain sector in the market, right? And spoke to them, for sure. I just don't remember like the exact like marketing campaigns of how they did it. Remember like Dollar Shave Club?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Remember that commercial? Yeah. The one like most famous one that like made it what it is. Yeah. Was amazing.
It's like a membership program, right? Where you were based and they send them to your house and there's these very high quality.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, razors are really expensive. Dollar Shave Club allows you to have affordable razors. Yeah. But what they did was really powerful. Like the marketing end of it is what took that company from where it was today. It was amazing, really amazing.
So you have to make sure that your customers have money to spend.
100%.
Right?
100%. So when you're choosing your markets, you got to figure that out. If you're in like choosing a new business, but really like when you're positioning, this is the marketing of your offer. It's like, what's the messaging, new or improvement? Yeah. You got to decide that. You got to figure out all those things. The work of a business is done before you're buying the traffic. Yeah. Like the messaging, understanding the who, probably the most important piece of any business. Yeah. If you don't know who you're talking to, it's very hard to have a successful, but if you don't know when you're successful, it's almost exciting because you can potentially take market share from a big company. Yeah. So that's what's cool, right? If you go and like,
to be able to
go and hack them.
A big company like that?
You know, when you say hack, the whole idea of like hacking like is you hack, let's say a funnel. You go through the funnel, you look at what they're doing, you try to understand exactly what they're doing. You see how many emails they send you. You're hacking the business. Yeah. You're trying to understand their model, how they're doing it, what they're doing. so you can model what's working, right? So you hack all these companies because that's
they had success. So let me just
exactly
mirror
right.
what they did.
That's exactly right. Right, like if you were starting a business, you don't. Most people think you got to come up with something new, and invent some product, and that is so wrong. If you wanted to do something, you almost want to make sure there's somebody doing it already in the marketplace and it's out there. Or do you want to do it? Because you want proof that it works.
Yeah.
And then when you do, and if it's killing it, why are you changing anything? Now you don't snapshot, copy, paste. You model it. It's a very big difference. Like people misunderstand that. Like and they'll like copy word for word everything, and people get pissed. Copying the exact model of how they're doing it, the layout, the look and feel, all that stuff, you should.
You build on that, or you personalize it, and you match it to your product. But
and the difference is like hopefully you're not targeting the same place.
Yeah.
But that happens sometimes too. I mean, listen, there's wars between Apple and Nokia or Samsung. That Samsung's copying their Apple stuff.
Yeah.
This happens all the time. That's the thing. Like, what gets exciting about if you want to start a business or you want to move to a different business, you want to pivot, is you can model what's already working and then just make it your own. So the work's pretty much done for you if you do the research and bring it in, and then you decide on the direction of the company, and then you just kind of emulate it because they've already done it. And then it's like from there, as you start doing it, you learn the business, and then you start like adding to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and then adding to it, learning from it. I mean, like CBD guy, getting all the traffic. But let's say 85% of them are back pain, okay?
Yeah.
And then 85% of those back pain people, like legitimate back pain. Not that you didn't do a good job segmenting them. Let's say the bulk of this traffic always comes down to pain management. But all those pain management people are day laborers, or they've been working their whole life doing, whatever, like back-breaking work, or they're on disability.
Yep.
That disability check isn't going to pay for CBD oil. Or, if there's no money in back pain,
Yep.
well, then we got to spin something. We got to figure out.
No, but there's money. There's tons of money in back pain.
Well, but I'm just saying, if you find that the bulk of your clientele doesn't have money.
Yeah, but that's different.
We got to spin it.
Where you were going is you find out that it's back pain. Now we got to start targeting the back pain people and positioning it you're in the back pain business. You're not in the full pain. There's a saying, it's like when you speak to everybody, you speak to nobody. So it's like when you mass market, you're really not hitting anybody's buttons. You're just kind of throwing it out there for the most part as a market whole. The more you niche down, the more you can relate to that person. The more you can customize your messaging, and you can compete in a very, very competitive market. They call it the red ocean, blue ocean, is the way people describe it. The red ocean means when you're in the ocean and it's all bloody, there's sharks everywhere. They're eating, they're crushing, they're killing it, right? You go to a blue ocean and there's no blood, there's no one there. And if you can figure out how to create a business that sits in the blue ocean, there's no competitors. No one can compete with you, right? So it's like, would you want to be in the red ocean with Nike, or would you want to be in the blue ocean targeting to 45 to 50-year-old men, play golf, on the outs of working, married, grandkids, and live in Florida? And then you understand, like, what the hell's going on with that person that lives in Florida, try to get their psyche, understand what's going on, and then you want to know, do you like my product? Why don't you like my product? There's tons of research out in the world, too. Like, people write books, right? To do the research on a business, to figure out, like, here, I'll give you a homework. You can go and read the reviews of books, but you don't read the good ones. You read the bad ones. You want to know what people are frustrated with. That's what those are the people you can get to be your customers, right? And you find like the common themes of what people are really frustrated with, and you read it, you listen to it, you keep going, taking as much as you can. That's one way. You can survey people, of course, right? You got to survey the right people. That's a big mistake people make, is they think using a survey for market research is it, but there's really do a terrible job with that if you don't do it right. You can make major mistakes. The person you survey is so important. Like, do you ever have a thing where come in for $100 a focus group about Pepsi? And you sit around and you go for the $100, and then you leave and you're like, did it for the $100. When you're surveying people and they're giving you their opinion, you want to survey absolute best customer, and you want their opinion and their beliefs, and you want to understand them. You want to go deep with 10, 15, 20, 100 people. Ask them, when it came to building your business, what was the number one challenge you had? When it comes to losing weight, what's the number one challenge you had? What's the other thing I want to know? I want to know why you wanted to do it. What's your desires? If you work with me, we fast forward to a year from now, where are you? How do you measure success?
One of those examples of what we were talking about before, what it was, geographic, it was psychographic?
Yeah.
So is that like,
Psychos?
fall into those categories of like...
That was more of like if you're trying to close them on the phone, you would ask questions like that. If you did it as market research, you could do it with open-ended and let them answer. If I were to do it in a segmentation question, I would have to create the multiple choice answers for that.
So like when you put, because when you're demographic, geographic, psychographic, I understand the first two categories, those seem so easy, like what kinds of questions you would ask. But when you're putting on a survey and you're trying to segment that out, like what's an example of a psychographic question?
Something you think of, anything you think, your opinion.
Yeah.
Your beliefs. If I give you a few surveys to go through as an exercise, you tell me, is that a demo question?
Yeah.
Is that a geo question, a psycho, or a behavioral? It seems like people get confused with that, so I've been backing it out and saying, you don't have to really know what demographics mean. It's just questions about who you are.
Yeah.
Geographics, where you are.
Yeah.
Right? Psychographics are what you think.
Okay, all right.
Right? And behavioral questions are
like what you do, how you do it.
Exactly. How you behave, what you do, how you take actions. When you consume content, do you like to read, watch videos, or listen to a podcast?
I gotcha.
Based on what you tell me is what I should be promoting to you. Exactly. If you like to consume content on a podcast, I should try to get you to my podcast, put you in the podcast segment, right? Versus the people that like to watch videos, I send to my YouTube channel. Yeah. So like if I'm like sending out emails, all that data is in Server Detective. You got that, right? So you can start to target people, and then like I could send out a note of what I just did, and hey, go check out my podcast, blah, blah. Go check out my YouTube video. Yeah. There's a lot. Those are all the questions. The way you segment, there's 3 different outcomes on how you do it. Yeah. I could show you the platform.
I just feel like it's something. It's something that you can apply to almost any business, any industry.
Yeah. So
it seems like a no-brainer.
Exactly. So I was trying to like write it out to give people questions to answer so that I can then come back and do it and do like a simple one. What I figured out was like I just started like reverse engineering and being like, if I come up with like this thing, I need to know first off like, what is your business? What do you sell? What is the action, the survey goal that you want the user to take at the end of this first, right? Like what business are you in? I'm in real estate. I want people to call me. I want people to sign up and go into my challenge, go into my boot camp, right? Like start following me on social media, whatever. You have to have an action. That's our goal at the end, what we want them to do. That we will have captured information before they even get there. It's already captured name, email, phone, whatever. Once you figure out that, you want to figure out on the front end, the theme of this is going to be. So then you're like kind of figuring out like how you're going to position it, what the big promise you're going to make. And you also want to understand, and this is where it takes a lot more time, the theme part's fine. It's like I was just using one that I did and just kind of like replicating. It's like there are 5 mistakes that everybody makes and you just, how do people identify in that industry? Mm-hmm. So for real estate, it's realtors. Maybe for me, maybe I'm doing entrepreneurs, but if I'm focusing on realty, it would be realtors for me too, right? Or dentists or whatever, or like funnel hackers or however they identify, right? So it's how you're speaking to them. And then what the desires are. So like you want to understand the who. What do they want? Like what's the goals that they want at the end? What's the transformation they're having from your product or service, right? Who are those people? Where are they coming from? What's their situation? And then by working with you, what are they going to get? They're going to make money, find a husband, whatever, right? There's whatever that is. There's that transformation from here today, desiring something. When they complete it, what's the transformation we're hoping they get? On that, I need to know like their desires, and then when I know what the industry is, how the person identifies. See, the thing is, I need a little bit more information to like write up the questions because I got to figure out what to ask. It's like, but I didn't do it. I thought I could get all of it, but then just use like the questions. I'm doing it with a primary segmentation, which means there's 3 ways to do it. You could do it in an advanced way, or this simple way is just like you ask one question, and then based on how they answer it, that's the segment. There's ways you could do it with points, like who are highest points or point ranges, stuff like that. And it's all set up in the system. Yeah. A little more complicated, but it allows you to then segment people by more than one question, right? So it's like, if I want to know your situation and your challenges, I can do it that way. What happens though is, the more sophisticated you get, the more outcomes you could have. When you know what happens then. So if you have 4 segments on the challenge question, you have 4 opt-in pages and 4 outcome pages. But now, what if we want to know if they're male or female in a certain income range, and then why they're having a challenge? What challenge are they having? That's where it's great, you can do it, but if you want to do it, you got to figure out like who is your customer and nail down on like who are we targeting. I mean, when you know what you're targeting, you could eliminate something. You really speak to the women. So like for the most part, and I'm not saying you wouldn't let men in, but you would position everything to women. Yeah. You know, and if men come through, they come through, but it'll be a very small amount. Yeah. You could ask a question that if they say male, you can branch them somewhere else off that survey into something else and pitch them something else.
Because if you're already, let's say you don't want men in your audience, when you're getting your traffic to begin with, like, you know, obviously, let's say you're buying leads from email or whatever, you say, I don't want any dudes' names. That's easy. But like on like a Facebook level, can you only show, like when you're doing Facebook ads, when you only...
Yeah, target. Yeah. When you set up your media buys.
So at that point though, like, so before they even land on your survey page, you could probably already have a really good idea that there's no dudes involved.
Yep. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
There's a bunch of targeting.
So, yeah.
But sometimes you don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then you could just have the simplest, easiest of questions, so weed out those, random dudes that found their way over.
Bingo.
Like,
Bingo. So what I was doing in the group last week, then I went to the win on Friday and Saturday, and on Saturday, one of my friends, Krista, came over with her husband in the hotel room, and we sat and we just did a workshop mastermind about her business. And it was so awesome. Having someone smart that knows about her business that could get me to where I could help her, and when I understand her business, then I can help her with everything that we're doing, right? And we can brainstorm. Sometimes you got to brainstorm. The biggest thing is figuring out who your segments are, right? So it's what are the objections that they're having? And then what is the solution you provide to overcome that objection? So that's where people get stumped. Some people know their business like the back of their hand. They can bang it out pretty quickly. They should be doing a market research survey before, but I'm not making them. They learn a lot about it, but the way you do it is you have them go, then you score the leads, you read all of it, you analyze it. But I just find that when I tell people all about this, they're unless they've paid me 50 grand already, the people that haven't paid for it, they don't really do it. They won't engage. Yeah. So I figured let's just do it imperfectly and then we'll figure it out after.
Absolutely.
And do it later.
Yeah.
But so I had a good takeaway with her so I have it to build. I have a bunch of those. That's what I was planning on doing today.